From Cusco, I followed one of the ancient trails that led to the mountains and beyond, to the very edges of the Amazon jungle itself. The Inca Empire was based on agriculture. Practically everyone was a farmer. An elaborate system of terraces was built to grow enough food, and as the population grew, the terraces reached further and further up the sides of the mountains. The trail I was following led me to the village of Huilloc in the foothills of the Andes.
Oh man, look at this.
In the 16th century, the Inca Empire was brought to its knees by the Spanish conquistadors before being decimated by smallpox, plague, and influenza. These Quechua Indians are direct descendants of the Incas.
Fantastic, unbelievable sight.
I was reluctant to leave such a beautiful place and such beautiful people, but I had a job to do. I was on a mission to find and photograph the bushmaster, the largest venomous snake in the Western Hemisphere, and I wasn't going to let anything get in my way.
Look, llamas. Llamas. Oh, what do you do when you're confronted by llamas? These guys have been used for pack animals for hundreds of years. And of course, their coats, their woolly coats. These guys come down from the mountains. Look at all the dust on here. Their woolly coats, fantastic source of wool. I just got to get through here. You know, in the Inca times, the priests used to actually favor the white llamas for sacrificing. Oh, getting through here. Oh, these guys kick. What you got to, you know, llamas are actually. Hang on, I just got to, hang on, hey, wait, whoa, we're going back. Oh, let me just get through here quickly. Hang on. What a bed. It's an incredible bed. You know, llamas are actually related to camels. And you just got to watch out. The one thing, they don't bite, but they're inclined to spit. If you really rattle them, they're going to spit at you. I just got to find a way through this guy. Llama. The other thing about llamas is llamas.
I just hope the bushmaster doesn't give me as much trouble. And Atropos, who cut the thread, bringing death. As I followed the Inca Trail high up into the Andes Mountains, I had plenty of time, like so many adventurers before me, to consider what the fates might have in store. The Incas worshipped nature gods, and in Inca mythology, the mountains were especially significant, being close to the sun and also the source of water, and therefore of life itself. In Inca mythology, the mountains didn't merely represent the gods, they were the gods.
I can hardly believe this. I'm walking through snow in the Andes Mountains, and it's freezing, it's cold. But around me is spectacular scenery. I can't believe it, it's gorgeous. But one minute you can see it, the next minute the mist just comes in and it whites out and you don't know where you are. It's incredible. I'm not used to this sort of stuff. What is amazing though is I'm actually heading for the Amazon jungle. And across those mountains, on the next mountain range, just behind that, you can already see forest. And just below that is the actual Amazon jungle itself. So what's happening here, of course, I'm basically at the source. All the snow is melting, and it's melting all the time, and there's thousands of little rivulets running down, and they form major rivers. And that goes down into the mighty Amazon, which goes on for 2,000 kilometers or more. It's fantastic. And I tell you what, I come from a desert country, and I'm not used to the snow, and I can't wait to get out of it. And I'm heading straight as fast as I can for that Amazon jungle.
I was heading for an area of undisturbed rainforest, along the banks of the Madre de Dios, or Mother of God River, a tributary of the Amazon. It was here, where the Inca Trail finally ran out, that I would begin my search for the elusive bushmaster.
Can you see that? Wow, did you see that strike? That is why these snakes are so dangerous. You know what snake this is? This is a fer-de-lance, lancehead viper. This is one of the potentially most dangerous snakes in Peru, simply because of what you're seeing here, perfectly camouflaged in the leaves. I mean, I didn't see this snake. I tripped over here. I could have put my hand right on it. Look at that lunge. Unbelievable. Watch the tail. Look how she's rattling her tail. They get so mad, they rattle their tail and the active flickers along amongst the leaves. It almost sounds like a rattlesnake.
Gently using my snake tongs, I pulled him out into the open.
Come on, boy. Oops, look at that. Wow, what a strike. These are fast striking snakes. You know, they strike at about 20 foot per second. Incredible. Okay, come on. Whoopsie. Oh, he wants to get back there, so leave me alone. I'm getting out of here. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? What a strike. This is a dangerous snake, man. I want to try and get a better look at this guy. Boy, what is he? Boy, he looks like he's got a very slender tail. I'm thinking it's a male. And look at him stand up. Isn't that incredible? Unbelievable striking speed. These are ultimate predators. I mean, wow, you know? Pit vipers. You get a really good now. Okay, boy, come. There we go. Look at that. All right, look at him trying to get to me. And I just got his tail. Luckily, I've just got his tail. Look at that snake. And he wants to get off. Oh, he's so clever. Look at that. He's just almost in reach of me. Oh, man. Let's keep back here. Let's keep back. You got my cameraman terrified, man. Stop it. Behave yourself. God, he's crossed. This is the most furious snake I've seen for a long time. Look at that. Taking a bit of a chance here, but really, isn't he gorgeous? Magnificent animal. Okay. There we go. All right. Wow. He's so clever, this guy. He gets himself off the tongs immediately. See that? Really clever. Usually a snake will just hook onto those tongs. There you are, like that. Gonna bring him real close. Okay, watch it, watch it. Right, look at that. Oh, he said, what's that black thing there? What's that dark thing there? I want to kill it. And again, and again. The venom of this snake is incredibly powerful. It's a combination cytotoxic, hemotoxic, blood-destroying, tissue-destroying poison, causes massive hemorrhage, terribly painful. You could easily have a limb amputated from a bite from a snake like this, if you're lucky enough to survive the bite at all. Okay, what I'm going to do is put the snake just back. I mean, I hope nobody else comes and step along it, but I'm way out in the jungle here, and he's pretty well tucked away in this little corner. I'll actually even help him a bit by covering him with a couple of leaves. That's how you originally find these snakes. Tucked away like that, calms down immediately. Look at that. As soon as you cover him up, says, that's all I want. I want to be hidden. I'm waiting for prey. I don't want to actually bite anybody human. You know what I mean? Okay, you stay good there, boy. All right, that's enough of that for now. Off I go.
This area of rainforest was the perfect habitat for a bushmaster, a notoriously shy creature that often remains hidden in one place for weeks at a time, coiled and ready to strike at its prey. Now, it wasn't a question of how far I traveled, but how carefully I looked. I just hoped I saw the bushmaster before it saw me.
Let's just get a look at this. See if you can see this camouflage. Look at this guy. He's got himself under leaves that look exactly the same color as he is. See that? Watch that. That leaf is exactly the same color as his back. Let me just get him out. Okay.
That's a Peruvian horned frog. Unbelievable animal. Look above his eyes. You can quite clearly see the horns, which are actually very soft. And that's how he gets his name. Although he's got another name too, a more comical name. Some people call him a Pac-Man frog. And if you've ever played the Pac-Man games on your computer, you'll see the resemblance immediately. This enormous jaw that he has here. In fact, these frogs are divided into two parts basically. Big jaw and big stomach. And they're voracious eaters. And what they do, from that position in his hole, they often bring their back leg right over like this. And they jiggle these little toes above their head, and they attract the attention of other animals, sometimes other frogs, sometimes mice, sometimes even snakes, and they immediately lunge forward and they pull it in. They pull the whole animal into this ginormous mouth, and they push it straight out into the stomach. He uses his front paws to actually push on that stomach and push the animal down. The animal might still be alive, sticks it down into his stomach, and he just holds it there. Of course, the animal suffocates and he digests it. Incredible little animal and beautifully camouflaged, absolutely fantastic. I'm putting him right back in exactly the same spot. Once I cover him up again, he'd probably settle down just as he was. Oh, he made a little noise for me there. Take those same leaves and just cover him.
There were plenty of indications that this was a good area to look for a bushmaster, a snake that favors undisturbed lowland rainforest. As I made
He's got a bat going up. Look at this guy, he's quite nippy. This is a tree boa. Look what's happened here. That's why the bats came out of here. This guy's actually hunting these bats. I must get a shot of this immediately. Oh, he wants to get hold of me. Let me just get a shot. Look at that, I can get termite mound and snake. Oh, and look at him striking at me. Every time he sees the slightest movement. Okay, because he's been disturbed now. Come on, boy, don't bite me. Okay, these guys, of course, have got teeth. They're not venomous, there's nothing to worry about, but he's got teeth like any snake. And if he was actually to bite onto me, it would be quite painful. They've actually got pretty long teeth because these guys prey largely on birds and other animals that live high up in the trees, and he has to have good teeth to grip on. Oh man, that was close to my face. Now come on. What's happened here is that the bats were living up here, because this is a termite mound. May have been abandoned, but actually I see some termites here still. What happens sometimes is other animals, stay calm now, other animals come, make holes into these termite nests and actually go and live in there. And it's usually something like a small parakeet, one or two types of parakeets that might do this quite well. Tunnel their way up there. I must actually have a look if there isn't something else in there. They tunnel their way up, and something may go wrong. They might abandon it, or they may get eaten by a snake like this, and they abandon the nest. And then the bats move in. And the same thing might happen now with the bats. This guy's coming up here, and he's obviously looking for bats or something to eat. He's probably detected them up there. I've got this little torch, but this guy's going to bite me for sure. I want to just have a look. Oops. I'll have a look up there. Oh, yeah. Oh, the tunnel goes right to the top. Goes right to the top. Right up in there. Now, you must know this is still a living termite mound. There's termites all around, but animals can move in here, they can make their nest, and they can stay here quite happily. The termites don't seem to worry them. They don't seem to have a problem with animals living in there as long as they are not destroying the nest more than what it's already destroyed. There's nothing else in here. Okay, so this guy was about to go up and probably feed on these bats. So it's just as well the bats flew out, because as soon as I saw those guys, I realized bats shouldn't be flying out in the daytime, and there's got to be something going on. But I didn't believe my luck. Oops, stop that. They're very prehensile snakes. If you look at the tail, which I'm going to just try and get now. There, I've got to get him to move. I've got to unwind him. Oh, come on now, behave yourself. If I can just unwind him, don't bite me. Don't bite me, I'm just going to move you a little bit. You see how they hold on? See how that prehensile tail grips on? When these guys start moving up a tree, you can't stop them. He go up like a shot. Anyway, let me get him up there. His head is busy up there while I'm getting his tail loose down here. Okay, now when I pull him apart, when I open him up, you'll see that he's a lot bigger than you thought. See, he looked a lot smaller when he was gauged around the tree, but he's actually about 1.5 meters. Isn't that incredible? Very prehensile. Now, they come in a lot of different colors. This guy's quite a nice mottled gray and brown and yellow color, but sometimes in the tops of the trees you find them actually yellow in color, bright butter yellow, and in other places even green. So you have a great variety of colors that they found in. Oh, look at that. Look at those teeth. Look at those teeth. Can you see that? Unbelievable. You can actually see the teeth. He's so cross. He's holding his mouth open, and look at all those teeth there. The teeth are so big, it actually looks like fangs. Can you see that? Let me just open that again. Look at that. You can actually see those fangs. Isn't that fantastic? I've never actually looked at them this close. I'm just going to let go his head again. Okay, there we go. Let him just relax. Are you okay now? He's calmed down. See, as soon as he realizes he's not in danger, he just wants to get away. What I'll do is just leave him here, And as soon as I move away and get out the way, in his own time, he'll start climbing up the tree. All right, up you go.
I'd found the tree boa with the help of the bats, but who or what would help me find the bushmaster? The bushmaster, unlike other pit vipers, lays eggs rather than giving birth to live young. The eggs have a soft shell, and each bushmaster baby is equipped with a special egg tooth which it uses to cut its way out. Although no one knows for sure, it's thought that the mother abandons the eggs shortly before they hatch, and that the young bushmasters quickly disperse to fend for themselves. Even these small bushmasters are venomous and capable of killing a man.
Yeah, look at that. I wasn't sure at first because he's such a small specimen. I wasn't sure if this is a dangerous snake. I thought it was a fer-de-lance. What this is actually a false viper. It's a baby, so it's more difficult to tell, but I can tell by the round eyes. Definitely different. They look exactly like a fer-de-lance, almost identical. These guys grow to about 2 foot in length. He'd be about that big, and if you saw him amongst the leaves like that, you would... Holy mackerel. That was close. I think I've lost my snake somewhere in there. This area is too dangerous. Let's get out of here.
Even though I'd escaped the falling branch, I wasn't safe anywhere. In the Amazon jungle, the trees are as dangerous as the snakes. In fact, in normal circumstances, more people die from being hit by falling branches or even whole trees than from snake bites. But these weren't normal circumstances. I had come to the jungle to look for snakes, not to avoid them. I guess I was looking for trouble. The question was, would I find it?
Got him back. Oh, and I got him. And oh, isn't he gorgeous? You know what this is? This is actually called a smoky jungle frog, and it's the biggest frog you find in South America. Okay, look at this guy. Oh man, he's gorgeous. I just want to check. If you look under the jaw, okay, often the males have got like a beard here, a dark blotch over there, which gives it away. But I think this is a female because it looks quite clear. You'll see that even these females have got pretty chunky legs over here. But the males in season, breeding time, actually grow large arms here, Popeye-style arms. And they grow spurs out in the front there. And those spurs are designed just simply for gripping around the body of the female and holding on to her while they mate. And if you move down the body now, you look at these back legs. The feet are quite fantastic. Look how long that long toe, the center toe, look how long that is. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 joints. Okay, and because of the size of them, they're pretty able to eat a lot of stuff. These guys can eat full-grown mice with no effort at all, and they're even known to eat snakes, sometimes even venomous snakes. They've got a tongue in the front where they just shoot out and pull back straight away, big mouth, pull the animal straight down into the stomach, no problem at all. Okay, what I want to show, if I can, is how these guys defend themselves against something like a snake attack. Okay, now watch this. And if I was a snake coming here to grab over there, look at that, see that? Snake comes along, wants to grab on there, she raises the back, makes herself look as big and as powerful as possible. And if a snake does grab her, she's got these incredible back legs. She can jump like mad, and she got a good chance of actually ripping herself free and getting away. These are amazing animals, you know. I actually prefer to call them a foam nest frog,
because the females at breeding season actually create a foam nest. What she does when she's secreting fluid out the hind area, rubbing these legs together, they create foam that you can't believe, man. It becomes a pile of foam this big, all over like this, and she lays the eggs right inside there. And it's usually in an area where water is rising or they're expecting rain to fall very soon, because it happens very quickly. And then the rain washes this foam nest away and washes all the tadpoles, which are now metamorphosizing into little frogs, washes them into the rivers or into the surrounding swampy area, and they're all safe. It's an incredible system, and they know exactly when to do that. Okay, now let me, oh, look, she's still so crosswind. Look how she stands up. Isn't that fantastic? I would have loved to take some pictures of this, but I've lost my camp completely. I've lost all my stuff. I don't know where I am. And to hold this frog, a squirmish little sticky frog like this, I'd rather just let her go. All right, so what I'm going to do, put her down and let her go now. Now she can go in her own time. You ready to leave now? Thank you for that. All right, let me see if I can find her where all my stuff is.
Chasing after that frog in the oppressive heat and humidity of the jungle had been exhausting. If I did find a bushmaster, would I still have the strength to deal with it? I knew that bushmasters favored undisturbed lowland rainforest, and so the area I was in, close to the Madre de Dios River, was perfect. And I also knew that bushmasters like to hide amongst the tangled roots of trees, where they may remain coiled for weeks on end, waiting for prey. The problem was, there weren't many bushmasters, but there were a lot of trees. I'd heard the sound of trees falling in the distance, and I'd narrowly escaped being hit by a branch. But I'd never been this close to a falling tree, and I'd never seen one this size come down. The tree looks healthy enough on the outside, but could easily be diseased within. Or maybe it's been weakened by termites. Any large tree is vulnerable, and so is anyone beneath it.
Holy mackerel. Somewhere beneath all that devastation is my camp. Oh man, just look at the destruction over here. Unbelievable. Incredible force that's been unleashed here. And I might just have found my kitchen. There's something I recognize. Wow. Oh man, can you believe it? Well, it doesn't look like I'm going to be cooking with this stuff too much anymore. Unbelievable what happened here. Thank goodness I was just out of range of that. Wow, just look at this tree. The size of this tree, it's almost impossible to believe. I mean, this tree must be hundreds and hundreds of years old. Hundreds of tons of power coming down, hitting this forest. It like breaks my heart, you know, it's terrible that this old tree has fallen down. But a person must not forget this is part of nature. Nature's perfect. Nature makes a complete circle. This is just a case of out with the old, in with the new. This giant tree has come down. When it came down, it's pulled down all these other branches with it. It's made a massive gap up here in the top of the forest. This allows light to come through now, and all these smaller trees around here, everything now gets this light, and immediately they start growing. And in a couple of weeks, you won't believe it. This is all overgrown again. It's incredible. You probably won't be able to find the logs. It's all part of nature. It's not deathless. This is actually, in a weird sort of way, it's life again. It's regeneration, which is what nature's all about. It's absolutely fantastic. I mustn't feel sad. I must actually feel quite pleased about it. Wow, so much stuff though. I can't believe it. I'm so close. There's something over there. Hang on. Oh, what is this guy? What have I got here? Oh, I've got it. Oh, man. Yeah, I know what this is. It's a monkey lizard. And in the area we are now particularly, I would imagine what they would call a southern monkey lizard. This is a very unusual lizard, and anybody who knows lizards will see immediately there's three different aspects here. I mean, it could be, look at this long tail. That reminds you immediately of the prehensile tail of a chameleon. And if you look at the mouth, and I actually bring my fingers up here, oh, he opens his mouth just like a chameleon does and bites on and holds. Chameleons are typical of that. They got good teeth and they hang on. Look at him hanging on. He says, I'm furious, I'm going to bite you. So you might think, oh, this is some kind of a chameleon. Come on, let go now. And then if you look along the full length of the body, and imagine this lizard was running up a tree from a distance, and you just saw this long green slender shape going up, you might think it's a green iguana. And then again, if you'll just let go, you can let go. Thank you. It's such a cute little thing. If you look underneath and you look at the shape of the head, and you've got the dewlap over here, this is typical of the anole lizards that you get all over the Americas. So it's like 3 lizards built into one. Unbelievable. And like chameleons, they can also change color. This is the normal color. Walking around in the forest, well blended in, this is the color you should be. But after coming out of sleep or being in a dark hole somewhere, you might be a very brown color. So that can be a bit confusing. Just as it is here, this situation here is perfect for him. There's going to be ants and moths and other little insects all walking around here from this tree crash. And he's obviously going to feed on those, no problem at all. Okay, so unbelievable lizard. Look at that, like a little chameleon. See how he moves very slowly. He's such a gorgeous boy. He's absolutely gorgeous, isn't he? He's like a little dinosaur. Fantastic, very rare animal, very unusual thing to find. Okay, let me take him off. Okay, we're going to put you away. We're going to put you away. He had a good bite at me there, so now I'll put him back on the branch here. There we go. Up you go. Hold tight. There we go.
It was proving much harder than I'd expected to find a bushmaster, and I began to think about what I would do if I couldn't find one. But then something happened that was to change everything, and to change it in a way that I could never have imagined. For days I'd been looking for the bushmaster without success. But the jungle is full of surprises, and now suddenly the tables were turned. Something had come looking for me.
I'm a bit nervous about this. This is a tapir, and this is the biggest land mammal they've got in South America. This actually looks like a young one. They get a lot bigger than this, but they shouldn't be coming close to me like this. I'm a bit nervous. An animal like this is very powerful, pretty dangerous animal if you get on the wrong side of it. Even if she doesn't bite you, and they can give a terrible bite, they've got this pure brute strength that could take you and knock you over, and they've got toes that have got big nails on. And that's something that can really rasp you. And I think it is a young one, but I'm a bit worried because Mama could be anywhere around here. I rather would not take my chances. Now the thing is, the tapirs have got a bad reputation for charging suddenly. And that's why I also don't trust this. She might be warming up, and she's in the water and she might charge. And they're fantastic swimmers. They can even swim underwater at great speed. They're actually perfectly designed for jungle living. These animals have been like this, roughly in the same shape for about 20 million years or more. Incredibly designed, long pointy snout, thick hard body. These guys have got a coat like steel, and they've got very fine hair that doesn't tangle in the jungle. It's well designed for jungle living. You look at the prehensile nose these guys have got. They've got an actually prehensile nose. Almost looks like a small elephant, the beginnings of an elephant. But in actual fact, as far as I know, this animal is more closely related to rhinoceros than any other animal. Oh yeah, it comes again. I just want to avoid being too close because I just don't know what he's actually on about. You know, I'm used to tackling with snakes. Give me any kind of venomous snake, but I've never done this. And you can't pick up a tapir and hold it in your hand. He seems to be settling down a bit though.
I couldn't believe that a wild tapir would come so close without attacking me. Maybe this tapir wasn't wild. Maybe it had come into contact with the Indian tribes that still live in this jungle.
Oh, she comes again. Gosh, I'm getting tired. I'm not sure if this is a game or not. Are you good? Are you? It's almost as if she's curious about me, but not quite sure what to do with me. And I'm not quite sure either, because this is one heck of a powerful animal. And you get your whole weight on top of me. But look at this, it actually wants to know what I am. Hey. Yeah. Isn't that fantastic? This is a mind-blowing experience, hey? This animal has got to have had some communication with people before, it has to.
I knew there were tribes of Machigenga Indians living in the rainforest, and although I'd deliberately chosen an area free of any sign of human disturbance, maybe it wasn't free of humans. How could I have spent so many days in the jungle without realizing that I wasn't alone, unaware that there was a small settlement less than half a mile from my camp? The Machigenga Indians, an ancient and gentle tribe who are thought to have lived in the area for almost 1,000 years, invited me to join them in one of their traditional pastimes. My suspicions about the surprisingly friendly tapir were confirmed. It was a village pet.
I'm quite fortunate to have ended up here with these people, the Machigenga. And it's amazing being at this village. I'm seeing stuff. I mean, this is quite mind-blowing, you know. I consider myself a resourceful person, and I spend weeks in jungles like this. But I've got everything with me. I've got every kind of bit of tinned food and bottle stuff and plastic stuff you can think of. These people appear on the surface to have absolutely nothing. But in actual fact, they get everything they want from the forest. It's amazing. I look at this forest, I see green walls. They walk through this forest, they see supermarket. They turn over a leaf, next thing it's in water and it's turned into some sort of a tea. Or pick up a log or something and there's food underneath. I walk right past it. It's quite fantastic, and I'm quite impressed.
I wanted to find out what the Machigenga thought about snakes and whether they might be able to help me find a bushmaster.
I was trying to communicate. It's very difficult because obviously I can't speak their language, and one or two of them have obviously had contact with civilization, and we together with a bit of sign language, we're getting a few messages across. They're not too keen on snakes. That's for sure. And from what I can make out, according to their legends and so on, all snakes, venomous or not venomous, all snakes are considered dangerous. In this tropical jungle, endless miles from anywhere, if these guys come across a snake, if it is a venomous snake and they do get bitten, I mean, there's no way he can survive. There's nowhere to go. You know, it takes days to get out of this forest to get to any sort of civilization. There's no anti-snake bite serum here. So you can understand how they have a great fear of snakes.
The snakes didn't scare me, but I wasn't so sure about dessert.
Thank you. Gracias. Oh, this is... Oh. Okay. I must have more of that.
The village elders told me the story of the spirit hunter, who the Machigenga believe lives in the jungle and hunts people with a bow that fires snakes instead of arrows. They also told me that the next day they would take me to a place where they'd seen some large snakes. Was this the home of their spirit hunter? Was this where I would at last find the bushmaster? I'd come to Peru to search for the bushmaster, a snake I'd always dreamed of seeing in the wild, but could find no signs of one. Did the Machigenga hold the key to finding this elusive snake, or would I go home empty-handed? For hours we walked in silence. I was no longer sure where I was or where we were heading. Would we ever find the snake I'd come all this way to see?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, what is it? Hang on, just whoa. Whoa.
This was it. This was what I'd been looking for. The bushmaster.
I've got him. I've actually got him. Man, just look at this guy. Look at him standing ready to strike. There we go. Look at the size of the snake. This is fantastic. I mean, this is something I've never touched before. And it is, after all, the biggest venomous snake in the Western Hemisphere. God, I've got to be so careful of the guy. They got a tremendous strike. Let me get him up, just so we can have a good look at him first. He keeps pulling off the tongs. He's very wise. I've got to be very careful. These snakes can strike. He could strike from the ground higher than my crotch. He could strike right up into my stomach. Let me see if I can get him stretched out. He must be at least 6 or 7 foot long. Wow. And he's heavy. Man, you know, a snake this big has got to be a dozen years or more old. And you usually think that a snake that old might already be faded in color. But in actual fact, this guy is beautifully marked, bright. Oh, he's getting a bit, he's not too aggro, but he's looking at me, he's not too sure. Look at that, can you see the size of that? What a snake. I'm a bit nervous. His head is very close to my hand and he's turning towards me again. I've got to be very careful. These snakes are tremendous strikers. Unbelievable snake, the most feared snake in all of Latin America. Oh man, and at the moment, he seems well behaved, but you've got to be very, very careful because a guy like this can just suddenly let go because he's still sussing out what's going on. He's not sure what's happening. Oh. One of the things you notice immediately about a snake like this is how high the backbone is. It has a very almost triangular shaped body with the backbone being very high, a raised sort of ridge. I've got to get my camera ready because I'd like to do some stuff with this. Okay. Uh-oh, I haven't got my tongs and he's looking right at me. This is not a position you want to be in with a snake that can strike at this distance. I mean, this is a pit viper and he's got enormous pits. If you look very carefully, just as he's posed between the eye and the nose, that is his heat receptors. With that, he can detect exactly where I am. If this guy strikes out and he strikes at me, he won't miss. He'll hit me dead on, the closest part of my body. Anything warm. Let me take my first shot. I'm taking a far away one because I'm a bit nervous. That's it. Just keep him there. He looks like he's okay. Please don't strike at me from there. Okay, another shot. Look at these scales. Can you get a close look at these scales while he's in such a still position? These scales are like beads. Texture, if you hold them, if you actually grip on them, listen to that tail rattling. See the tail? Watch the tail action. Rattling on that leaf there. These guys sometimes are called mute rattlesnake. Silent rattlesnake. I'm so nervous around this guy. I just want to let him take his own time. His tail was going off there, so he is a little bit angry. These snakes are reputed to come towards light. And when campers or bush people or natives or Indians in the jungle are actually making campfires while they're on their hunts and such like, they actually extinguish the fire as quickly as they can afterwards for fear of having one of these snakes possibly approach the fire. It's so similar to a story they have in Africa about rhinos coming to fires. See how that tongue is flickering? Can you actually see that tongue? It's got a pink tongue. There we go. Look at the tongue flickering out and how wide that fork is because he's such a big snake. That's beautiful. I want to show the tummy of this guy. He's got the most incredibly gorgeous, creamy stomach with massive scales going across the body. Look at that. Isn't that fabulous? This is the most beautiful snake, the most beautiful snake to touch. Now, these snakes can strike tremendously quickly. Potentially, this is the most dangerous snake in the whole Western Hemisphere. It has an incredible strike, an incredible range, and enormous fangs. Like all the vipers, it has hinged fangs which shoot out, bite, and pull back. Let me get another picture really close. Okay, good. I can't read this snake. He just looks. It's almost as if they have no expression at all. He just stands there. So I don't know if he's really mad and he's just keeping quiet and he's going to let me have it, or if he's really not too worried and he just wants to get me out the way. Just got to be very wary, very wary. I'm really nervous about a snake. I haven't for a long time been this nervous about working with a snake. Bushmaster is such a legendary snake. So many stories about them. The fact that I've actually found one and such a big one is just to me absolutely incredible. I mean, if I was bitten by a snake like this, yeah, I'm hundreds and hundreds of kilometers from any medical attention. It would not be a good idea. It's not something that must happen. You cannot survive a bite like this way out here. I've got to be extra careful with this guy. He's so big. Can you come and pose for me up here? In fact, I wouldn't mind if you draped over here. That would be a great picture. Maybe I can try that. Let's see. I'll bring him around. That's always a dangerous thing, trying to position a snake for a decent photograph, but it means that you have to relax your guard. I'd like to bring his head over this way. There we go. He's going to climb up. I'm going to get it. Didn't have my flash then. End of film. I've run out of film. Bring him back quickly. Oh man, God, I'm so nervous. I'm sweating so much. I'm just going to put him here. I'm going to have to hang on to him a bit. If he goes around that log, I'm going to put him between my legs and just hold on to him quickly while I unload this. It's all right. He's going the other way as long as he's not coming towards me. Come on, come on, come on. Get in there. All right, he's going to make a break for it, but I've got him. There we go. I'm loaded. And I'm sweating like a pig here. Okay, here he comes. You get on the log. This is great. That's what I want. I'm taking a little bit of a chance because but he doesn't show any anger at the moment. Okay. Now the venom of these snakes is incredibly toxic. Okay, something that causes massive necrosis and terrible damage to the limb, apart from death, which will occur later. Okay, I'm going to try a few more shots on this log before I leave the snake. Oh, look at this climb. If I can get a climb, that would be even great. See how she gets just get her head over the edge and she'll pull herself over. Actually sliding down. There's a shot. Isn't this incredible? That's fantastic. It's coming right towards me. And I got it. Oh, it's curling up a little bit. Come on. Oh, I better just keep still. I better just keep still rather than she's going to strike at me. Don't know. Oh, she's coming forward and she's curling up. I don't like this. I've got to get the shot. Come on. Okay. A bit worried about the flash. See, look how she's curling up. Isn't that fantastic? Perfect pose. What a snake. Absolutely incredible. Okay. Wow. So far I haven't attracted one strike, which is rather better for me. I don't want to take any more chances than I need to. So I'm going to tuck her away almost exactly where I found her and go and have a look what my photos look like. As soon as I can develop this film, wow, look at this snake. I'm going to just tuck her away right over here. Look at this. Off you go, girl. There we go. There we go. Off she goes in her own time. Wow, what a snake. What an experience. I was so excited about that. Hey, where's everybody gone? Guys? Guys?
This really had been an incredible adventure. I'd come to Peru to find and photograph the bushmaster, that rarest of snakes. And although there were times when I thought I wouldn't succeed, eventually, with the help of the Machigenga Indians, I'd done it. I just hope those photographs come out all right.